Dan Dickerson, welcome to the Hook.
Live from Seattle. Danny's on the road again now. Thanks, buddy.
Finally got this to happen. It's we in Chicago are the two first to travel, and it's I can't imagine having called that from like a dark Comerica park at 1 a.m. yesterday. So pretty amazing that this all worked out.
I was thinking of you last night, this morning, and I'm like, oh man, do I call him right now? Or because I forgot that you were in Seattle, to be perfectly honest with you. And we used your call today. We love it, obviously. We love what you and Jim do, and that's the call we use. But, Dan, you've called a few in the past. How does this one rank?
It was just I think I just enjoyed it because Spencer Turnbull's been working so hard on, he drifts a little bit of concentration. They want him to throw more strikes. The stuff has always been elite level, and it's just him putting it together, and it all came together last night. So I loved it. I loved watching it. I've called 2 with Justin Verlander. You were never surprised when Justin Verlander threw a no-hitter, right? I mean, there were the times when he'd give up that first hit of the game and the crowd would groan when he was at his peak. That's how much you knew he could dominate and throw one any night. But Spencer Turnbull, he had the stuff to do it, but it was just a matter of would he put it all together. And the last 2 starts have been outstanding. And I said going in, this is a pretty good matchup for him. Really, let's face it, it's a pretty good matchup for almost any pitcher with stuff. It's not a very good lineup, but the fact that he put it together and he'd never pitched more than 7 innings in a game in his first career complete game is a no-hitter. Pretty cool.
Now, I know I've traveled with you in the past and, of course, come down for Grapefruit League play, and you're so nice to open your home to me. But I'm thinking that it's looking like getaway day in that hotel room, Dan. I don't think you made your bed the way you usually do.
No, it's made. There's just a little bit of a little corner of the sheet there that has to go back on top. But
go ahead, Pilar. I just had to dig them on housekeeping.
You're so wrong. You're so wrong. You know what? It's great to see people traveling again and calling in from hotel rooms. That's a good sign that things are returning to normal. But Dan, the Tigers are pretty fun to watch right now. Where do you see us going from here?
I think some of the things that have happened in the last week are, they've kind of shored up the defense. Up the middle defense is always important, right? It's been a struggle with Willie Castro at second base. Last 2 days, Jonathan Schoop has been there, and it is a delicate balancing act for manager A.J. Hinch right now. They still want to develop Willie Castro. They're not giving up on him. But Jonathan Schoop at second base the last 2 nights has been a great reminder of just how important it is to have rock-solid, above-average defense at second base, turning double plays, making plays that a lot of guys don't make. That bat needs to heat up, and it is. But Jonathan Schoop at second has helped a lot. The 2 young catchers, both Haas and Rogers behind the plate, more athletic. They're just more energetic. I don't know. They call a good game. A big upgrade at catcher. And Grayson Greiner does a good job. But I think both these guys have shown what the upside can be behind the plate. And Eric Haas obviously can hit a little bit too. So I think those 2 things have helped the defense. You've got a pitching staff that you've got 3 ground ball guys. And you want that rock-solid defense. It has not been good for the last month or so. So I think those are little developments that are helping this staff. And right now the starting rotation is leading this team as the offense begins to heat up enough to certainly show that it can be better than the offense we saw for the preceding 3 weeks. It's been 2 weeks now where the offense has put together some pretty good games where usually they're putting together rallies with singles, walks, doubles, not a lot of home run power. Here in Seattle, surprisingly, it's been 4 home runs in 2 games that have really led the way. So I just see some good things going on. The bullpen is next. That's a work in progress. They need help there. They need guys to really step up to levels that I know we've seen in the past. And I think it's going to get there. But to have a good rotation with a better defense, that's not a bad way to start when you're talking about turning things around.
You know what, Dan Dickerson, the radio voice of the Detroit Tigers. And you mentioned Eric Haas, Divine Child, Dearborn, obviously hometown product. What I was most impressed with, and I gave it a 9.5 out of 10, but was that final strikeout, the mass toss, and the embrace right there. Not only showed me, I was like, these guys practiced this before or whatever, but but the genuine pile up, and then to ensue the celebration after the cream in the face, and then even guys coming out after. What does this do? Because you're around this now that you're traveling, but even at home, you're around this locker room. These guys look like they're having fun and they play hard for each other. You know, just what did you think?
I agree.
On the Dickerson scale, what was that catcher, pitcher? You know, were you impressed as I was?
I was. I love the reaction. I mean, every single teammate, not only after the little mob scene, you know, every teammate got a hug. And I just think that shows everybody knows how good he is. He's a good guy. He works very hard. And they know that it's been a process to get to where he is. What I see is a team, yes, coming together. And I see a coaching staff that just stays very steady in their day-to-day emphasis of these are the things we need to do to play winning baseball. We have to, you know, we have to raise our level of performance, but this is how we're going to get there. And Spencer Turnbull's a great example of that. The hitting in the last 2 weeks is a good example of that. That was an awful 17-game stretch where they didn't even average 2 runs a game. They just stayed with it. It's like, okay, but we're going to keep preparing the same way. But you guys, you have to take this into the game and apply it and understand what we're talking about when we talk about plate discipline and approaches and game plans, that you can't cover everything. You have to look in a certain zone. You have to look for a certain pitch until you get to 2 strikes, and then you battle. And we've seen improvements in all those areas. Plate discipline, 2-strike approaches. But the strike throwing for pitchers, I think, is leading the way. Boyd, Turnbull, Mize, all much better with their strike throwing compared to a year ago, getting ahead, finding out that contact's okay, and now we're seeing guys work consistently into the 6th inning and beyond. Casey Mize doesn't get the 8th inning the other day unless he had a low pitch count. And he's understanding that he's got the stuff to fill up the strike zone, get the early count contact that A.J. Hinch talks about all the time, not be afraid of it. There's going to be some hard contact, but it's a lot of ground balls. And then that allows you to get into the 7th and 8th. They're trying to build these guys up to be guys who work deep into games, not 5 and 6 inning starters. They want them to work deep. They're figuring it out, and it's a lot of fun to watch the process.
Hey, Danny, 5 no-hitters already this year. Seattle's gotten behind 2 of them. Cleveland's behind 2 of them. And I thought there was another one, obviously, but you disagree with me. I think Madison Bumgarner should have had one, but it's 7 innings. That's okay. I'll pass on that right now. We won't get into that right now. But why all these no-hitters all of a sudden?
Well, the league's hitting, 233 through the beginning part of May. I haven't looked lately, but I think it might be up to, 235?
Yeah. What's up?
It's the strikeouts. I mean, the strikeouts certainly are leading the way. Batting average on balls in play are lower, and that certainly suggests the shifting is probably part of the equation. Taking some of those batted balls, out of play, and singles are being gobbled up by the shift. Teams continue to shift a ton. Tigers shift on almost every batter, certainly all the left-handed batters. So I think that's a big part of it. It's kind of a lot of different things. I think, some of the Tigers believe it's hitters still selling out for home runs, and they remain very vulnerable to this pitch at the upper part of the strike zone. More and more teams are spinning it. The 50-50 split between fastballs and secondary pitches, that's been a 10-year trend. So there's a lot of factors involved, but I think it's many things. But when you think about the strikeouts and how many fewer balls are being put in play, that's definitely going to affect batting average, and I think that's a big part of it.
All right, I got to get off just for a second. I know you got to run a little bit. Shohei Ohtani, the unicorn out in Anaheim. 14 home runs, leads the league, 2.10 ERA. He pitches tonight. I'm expecting a no-hitter.
He has to get the walks under control, and he did in his last start. He's a show. Isn't he?
Yeah.
This kid's unbelievable. He's unbelievable right now.
I've never seen anything like it. He's Babe Ruth.
Last I looked, let's see, 9 walks, 48 strikeouts as a hitter with 14 home runs. So clearly he won't walk and strike out a lot, and yet he's got 14 home runs and 155 at-bats. He was walking a batter an inning until his last start. Then again, he had a good start. The stuff is, as you've seen, amazing. That 2.10 ERA, I think, is a little bit artificially low, but I just love any update I get on Shohei Ohtani. He's phenomenal. A two-way player in this day and age.
He hit the batter's eye. The batter's eye.
Oh, the power is unbelievable. The power is unbelievable. I love it. I love everything he's doing. I love that he's going both ways. I thought maybe when he came back from Tommy John he wouldn't. Love it. And it's a lot of fun to watch. I'd love to see him in person more often, but what a show.
No, that's awesome. One last thing from me, Dan, because Tarik Skrubel on the mound tonight obviously has struggled. What are we looking for as fans to consider this a successful start? Does he need a quality start? They're looking to keep the runs down.
Hitter.
How can he keep this roll going that the pitchers in front of him have done?
What'd you say? I'm kind of thinking the return to Seattle, where he went to college. I mean, here's a kid from Nowheresville, Arizona, who ends up in Seattle because it's the only Division I program that offered him anything. But it was a key piece in his development. The Tommy John surgery is the only reason he fell to the 9th round. So I think he's probably got a little extra in him tonight because he's kind of not back home, but he's where he went to school. And I think that he's going to have some fans here from Seattle University that are going to be pulling for him. I think the biggest thing is what he did 2 starts ago, which is basically scrap the splitter and go back to the changeup. And just long story short, A.J. Hinch said it makes you, when you throw a splitter, you're kind of leading with your wrist. When you throw the changeup, you're finishing out here. And that finish allows you, or makes you really, when you throw your fastball, finish better. We had not seen the good electric fastball. Since he scrapped the splitter and gone back to the changeup, the grip that he used at Double-A, we have seen more life on that fastball at all speeds. It rides through the strike zone. And what I would look for tonight, because even though there was hard contact last time out, he finished strong. I think he's learning kind of like a little maybe behind Turnbull and Mize, learning how to piece it together, understand how to get contact early in the count, have a pitch count that's low because his strike throwing hasn't been as good as the other guys, and start to throw more first pitch strikes, see the benefits of it. But I think the whole key is that fastball life is back. The next key, get the slider back because it's been inconsistent. And when it's right, he becomes a walkout pitcher.
I know you got to check out now, Dan. So last Lions question for you. I got to get it in. Penei Sewell signs today. They give their number 1 pick, $24.1 million, 15 guaranteed. So the Lions are 5.5 in Vegas. The over/under for wins. What is your Lions thoughts for the year? I know you're a huge fan.
Over. Take the over. I always believe in Lions.
Look at Dan. He's trying to get his arm ready. Coach, you need my arm. You can use it for the Super Bowl. Team player, that Dan Dickerson, I tell you.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming on. Have a great call today.
Yeah, travel
All right,
safe.
guys. You're the best. Thank you.
Hey, you go to Safeco tonight. That's your favorite park. I think Kaufman is your second favorite. They go to the Royals.
Yeah, these are absolutely 2 of my favorite. Fenway and Seattle and Minnesota are probably my top 3. But I do love KC for that's a 70s era construction, which was a bad era for ballpark construction. They've done a great job there. I love going to KC.
All right, Dan. Have a safe trip. Continue traveling.
All right, guys.
Travel safe. Thanks.
Take care.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Yes.
Dan Dickerson,
Fish.
radio voice.